It all started with silence. Not the kind that soothes you, but the kind that screams. The kind of silence that comes right after a dream shatters, when the world moves on and you're stuck, frozen, watching everything you believe in slip right through your fingers. He stood alone on the edge of that cold street, shoes torn, eyes empty, dreams crushed, everything he'd worked for gone in a blink. How did he end up here? He used to be someone. Everyone said he was going places. And then he fell hard. But this is not a story about staying down. This is a story about what comes next. You ever wonder how some people bounce back from the worst pain, while others stay stuck forever? There's a secret, but it's not what you think. Before we get there, let me take you back. 3 months earlier, he had it all. Laughter in his home, purpose in his eyes, a plan so clear it felt like destiny. He worked harder than anyone else. Woke up before the sun. Stayed up long after the world went asleep. He gave everything to his dream. Then, out of nowhere, betrayal. A friend he trusted turned against him. A mistake he didn't make became his burden to carry. One decision, one moment, turned his world upside down. He lost his job. He lost his reputation. And worst of all, he lost himself. He begged for one more chance. One more opportunity to prove he was worth something. But no one listened. No one believed. Not even himself. Or so it seemed. Until something happened. Something small. Something easy to miss. It was a note left on the kitchen counter. Just 6 words. You are more than this. No name. No explanation. But those 6 words hit harder than all the failures combined. Because for the first time in weeks, he felt something. Not strength. Not joy. Not even hope. He felt anger. Not at the world. Not at the people who walked away. At himself. For giving up. For believing the lie that one fall could define a lifetime. And so he stood up, with shaking knees and a shattered heart. He stood. He didn't have a plan. He didn't even have shoes that could keep the rain out. But he had something more dangerous than comfort or certainty. He had a decision. To rise. One step. Just one. Towards something, anything, other than this pit. He showed up at places that rejected him. Knocked on doors that had been slammed in his face. People laughed. Some felt sorry for him. But he kept knocking. And then one door opened. Not to a dream job. Not to a miracle. To a broom. A janitor gig in a dusty warehouse. Most people would have walked away. But he saw something in that broom, a beginning. Because it wasn't about the job. It was about movement. Progress. Pain doesn't leave all at once. Sometimes, it lingers like a shadow. But every time he pushed that broom, he was sweeping away pieces of his past. The lies, the doubt, the fear. And slowly, very slowly, something inside him began to heal. You don't rise with applause. You rise in silence. You rise when no one is watching. You rise when every bone in your body screams for rest, but something in your soul whispers, not yet. You rise not because it's easy, but because staying down hurts more. And here's the truth most people will never tell you. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You just need to decide, right now, that falling isn't the end. It's the beginning. Because every champion was once a broken, tired, forgotten soul who simply refused to stay down. So I ask you now, where have you fallen? What lie have you started to believe about yourself? What's keeping you on the ground? Tonight, write it down. Burn it. Bury it. Tear it up. But don't carry it into tomorrow. Because you weren't made to stay in the dirt. You were made to rise. And this is only the beginning. Part 2, it gets darker, but also brighter. And the moment that changes everything hasn't happened yet. Have you ever hit the ground so hard you didn't think you'd get back up? Have you ever failed so badly you couldn't even look at yourself in the mirror? Have you ever felt like the whole world moved on and left you behind, broken, forgotten, invisible? If you said yes, good, because that means you're still in the fight. You see, the fall doesn't break you. Staying down does. And today that ends. Let me tell you something most people will never say out loud. You will fall. Not once. Not twice. You'll fall so many times. You'll lose count. You'll fail. You'll be embarrassed. You'll be laughed at. You'll try and still lose. People will turn their backs. Opportunities will vanish. Doors will slam so hard you'll think the world is trying to shut you out forever. And then, just when you think you've hit rock bottom, life will hand you a shovel. What do you do then? What do you do when the pain is louder than the hope? What do you do when your heart whispers, keep going, but your mind screams, give up? This is where most people stop. They freeze. They shrink. They accept the fall as the final chapter. But you're not most people, or you wouldn't still be listening. Because deep inside you there's a fire, buried under the pain, hiding beneath the fear, covered in the ashes of every failure. But it's still there, and it's waiting for you to rise. Let's make something clear right now. You are not broken. You are becoming. The fall? That's not the end. That's the part where the real growth begins. You're not weak because you cried. You're not a failure because you lost. You're not worthless because someone walked away. You are learning. You are healing. You are evolving. No one climbs a mountain without slipping. No one becomes strong without struggle. Look at your scars. Go ahead, look at them. They are not shame. They are proof. Proof that you've been through the storm and you're still here. Every fall teaches you something. Something you couldn't have learned from the top. Pain wakes you up. Failure sharpens you. Discomfort grows you. And fear isn't your enemy. It's your compass. If it scares you, it probably means it's important. So don't run from the fear. Run toward it. Because that's where your next level lives. You don't rise by being fearless. You rise by being brave enough to move with fear. You don't rise because you feel ready. You rise because you decide to. And that decision, that moment you whisper, not today, to the voice of defeat, that's when everything starts to change. Every single person you admire, every legend, every warrior, every champion, they fell many times. Some were crushed, but they chose to rise. Now it's your turn. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel like it. Not when it's easy. Right now. Stand up inside yourself. Wipe your face. Clench your fists. And rise. Because every second you stay on the ground, you're telling the world your pain is stronger than your purpose. And that's a lie. A big one. Because your purpose was built for the fire. And the fire is where you forge your future. This isn't the end. Not even close. But the next part, the real test, that's coming. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Look in the mirror and say this. I will rise. Say it until your voice shakes. Say it until your eyes water. Say it until you believe it. Then ask yourself a question most people are too afraid to face. What if I fall again? What happens then? You'll find out in part 2, because that's where the storm hits. And not everyone survives it. But maybe, just maybe, you will. It doesn't knock. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. The storm just comes. One day you wake up and everything feels heavy. The air, your thoughts, your soul. People don't see it, but you feel it. A weight pressing down, stealing your energy, stealing your light. This is what no one tells you. The hardest part of rising isn't getting up once. It's staying up when life keeps hitting you. Again, and again, and again. So the question is, what do you do when the storm doesn't stop? You rose once, maybe twice. You said the words. You made the promise. This time I won't quit. But then it hit you. The rejection, the loneliness, the chaos you didn't ask for, the bills you couldn't pay, the person who walked away, the dream that crumbled again. And you whispered in the dark, why does this keep happening to me? Why now? What's the point? You thought rising once would be enough. But the storm doesn't care how many times you stood up. It wants to know how many times you'll do it with bruised knees. How many times you'll do it with tears in your eyes. How many times you'll do it with no applause, no cheers, no one watching. And that's where most people fold, because they think pain means stop. They think storms mean wrong path. But storms don't come to destroy you. They come to reveal you. Listen closely. Anyone can smile when the sun is shining. Anyone can believe when the money's flowing. Anyone can talk big when life is easy. But you're not here to talk. You're here to fight. The storm is the price of the rise. It doesn't come to punish you. It comes to prepare you. For what? For the strength you asked for. For the life you said you wanted. For the dream that takes more than wishful thinking. You think champions are born? They're made, right here, in the storm. You want to know who you really are? Watch yourself when everything goes wrong. Do you scream and give up? Or do you clench your jaw and whisper, "Not today, not now, not like this"? You rise not because the storm stops. You rise while it's still raining, while your heart still hurts, while your mind still doubts. And that's what makes it powerful. Because anyone can rise when it's easy, but not everyone rises when it's hell. The storm will come. It always does. And it won't ask if you're ready. But what the storm doesn't know, what it can't see, is what's inside you. It can't measure your fight. It can't break your spirit. It can't stop a soul that refuses to give up. The storm is loud, but your will is louder. Let the lightning strike. Let the wind scream. Let the skies darken. You don't need calm. You just need courage. You don't need a perfect path. You just need to take one more step. Because every step through the storm, every breath you take when it hurts, every second you choose to stand tall, when everything inside begs you to lay down, that's where the warrior is born. Tonight, don't ask for the storm to pass. Ask for the fire to face it. Don't wait for calm. Become calm. Don't wait for peace. Bring the fight and ask yourself this. When everything falls apart, who do I become? That answer, that identity, that power you haven't unlocked yet, you'll face it in part 3. But be warned, the next test isn't about falling. It's about the silence that comes after. The silence where your voice has to rise. Will it? We'll see. After the storm, there's silence. Not peace. Not relief. Just silence. No more chaos. No more noise. Just you, alone with your thoughts. Alone with your pain. Alone with yourself. And in that silence, a new voice appears. Not loud, not clear, but steady. And it whispers one question that shakes your entire soul. Now what? You've fought. You've risen. You've stood through the fire. But now it's quiet. No applause. No spotlight. No signs. Just stillness. And in that stillness, the doubt returns. Was it worth it? Did I really grow? Why do I still feel so empty? This is the part no one prepares you for. Not the fall, not the storm, but the aftermath, when the battle is over and you're left staring at the damage. This is the test people rarely talk about, because it's not physical, it's mental, spiritual, invisible. It's not about what hits you from the outside. It's about what whispers from the inside. And that voice in the silence, it can either rebuild you or break you. Let's be honest. Silence scares people, not because it's empty, but because in the silence, you can hear everything you've been trying to avoid. Your regrets, your failures, your guilt, your fears. But here's the truth. Silence isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. And what you choose to speak into that silence changes everything. You see, the world has already told you what it thinks. That you're not enough. That you're too late. Too broken. Too far gone. But what matters now, what always matters, is what you say back. Because the world doesn't get the final word. You do. And the silence, that's your stage. Your moment. Your chance to rewrite the story. This is where the true champions are born. Not in the noise, not in the crowd, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching, and you choose to speak life over yourself. I am not finished. I am not defined by what I lost. I am stronger than the silence. This is where your inner voice becomes your greatest weapon, because the world can only break you if you believe it. And if your voice is louder than your doubt, nothing, not failure, not fear, not silence, can stop you. There's a power in stillness, A sacred place where everything is stripped away, and all that's left is truth. The truth of who you really are. Not the version shaped by fear. Not the version crushed by expectations. But the version that refuses to die. The voice that rises in the silence. That's the voice you've been searching for all along. Not the critic. Not the echo of other people's opinions. Your voice. It's not loud, but it's clear. And when you hear it, really hear it, you remember you weren't built to break. You were built to rebuild. You were built to begin again. You were built to rise. And this silence, it isn't the end. It's the space before the next beginning. Tonight, sit with the silence. Don't run from it. Don't distract yourself. Sit in the stillness and listen for your own voice. And when you hear it, don't ignore it. Speak back. Say what you've been too afraid to say. I'm not done. I'm still here. I will rise again. Because in part 4, we take everything you've been through, every fall, every storm, every silent night, and turn it into power. But you have to decide one thing first. Will you keep waiting for permission? Or will you finally give yourself the green light? Because the next part, there's no going back. It's time. Time to stop asking for permission. Time to stop waiting for signs. Time to stop worrying about who believes in you. And start believing in yourself. Because you've risen. You've been through the storms. You've faced the silence. And now, it's time for the final truth. You are unbreakable. You've had every reason to quit. Every reason to give up. Every reason to think it wasn't worth it. You've had every door slammed in your face. Every dream threatened. Every challenge tested your will. But guess what? You're still here. And that's not an accident. The storms didn't break you. The silence didn't drown you. The failures didn't define you. You're stronger now. More resilient. More focused. And do you know why? Because every time you fell, you chose to rise again. Every time you doubted, you chose to believe. Every time the world tried to tear you apart, you put yourself back together, piece by piece. Now you stand tall, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Here's the truth that no one tells you. Strength isn't given to you. It's built by every single choice you make, by every time you push forward, even when it feels impossible. Strength is not a gift. It's a skill. And just like any skill, it gets sharper with practice. You don't wake up strong. You don't wake up unbreakable. But you keep going. You keep learning. You keep fighting. And one day you look back and you realize that you become someone you never thought you could be. Someone who can't be broken. Someone who refuses to stay down. Someone who survived it all. Someone who's unbreakable. And now you're ready. Ready for whatever life throws at you next. Because you've proven it to yourself. You were made for this. You were made to rise. And no storm, no silence, no failure can change that. You are unbreakable. So here's your final decision. Are you going to keep waiting for the world to tell you what you can and can't do? Or are you going to step into your power and claim it for yourself? You don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need anyone's approval to be great. All you need is a decision to stand up and never look back. Because you've already been through the worst of it. And now you walk forward, stronger than you've ever been before. No more hesitation. No more fear. No more doubt. You are unbreakable. You are unstoppable. And nothing can stop you now. So what are you going to do? Sit down and wait for life to hand you everything? Or rise and take everything you deserve? This is your moment. This is your time. And from this moment forward, you don't rise for anyone. You rise for yourself. Now go live like the unbreakable force you were born to be. And remember, the storm doesn't last forever. But you're meant to last. Because you are unbreakable. And this is just the beginning.